Hey, do you feel intimidated or stupid when your roofer starts using a bunch of roofing terms you don't understand? Then this video is going to help you understand what the terms mean, and if you know what the terms mean, it's going to help you hire the right roofer for your roofing job. It's also going to help you understand the estimates that you're getting from the different roofers so that you can know which one is the best one. And it's going to help you interpret your insurance claim document if you've got one, so you can know if your roofer is doing the work that's in your claim. So let's get started. The first term is decking. So this is the wood that's nailed to your rafters or your trusses, and it's what your shingles get nailed to. It's also called sheathing. Well, so why do you need to know this term? Because there's times when your roofer is going to include it in his estimate. It may be in there because he knows he's going to have to replace some of it, or it may be in there as a contingency. So if he finds bad decking after he gets everything torn off, he's going to replace those boards as part of the project. So while it's not necessarily common, it can happen that the roofer finds decking sheets that have moisture damage if water's been getting under the shingles. Next is field. So this is the major surface area of the slopes on your roof. So when you look at your roof, the primary thing that you're seeing is the field. The next term is ridge. This is the part of your roof where two roof slopes meet as they rise. If the roof slopes meet at the top of the roof, this is called a ridge. If two roof slopes meet kind of at a diagonal rise, that's called a hip. Next is valley. A valley is also where two roof slopes meet, but it's where they meet on the downward diagonal slope. Water's always going to funnel down a valley. Next is shingles. So there's three different primary types of shingles: field shingles, hip and ridge shingles, and starter shingles. Field shingles, so it's just like the name says, these are the shingles that cover the major surface area of your roof. They're the shingles that you're most likely going to notice first when you look at your roof. Next is hip and ridge. So these shingles cover the ridges or the hips on your roof. They cap off the ridge and cover the gaps between the wood surfaces that the shingles get nailed to. These are also shingles that you can see when you look at your roof. And then there's starter shingles. So these are shingles that you can't see most of the time. They go underneath the field shingles at the roof edges. They've got a seal strip, so they give the field shingles something to stick to, and that's why you need them there. So in some cases, there's even colored starter shingles that you can see. And the next term is square. This is how your roofer and your insurance adjuster measure your roof. 1 square equals 100 square feet. So if your roof is 2,000 square feet, divide that by 100 and you get 20. So a 2,000 square foot roof is 20 squares. So the field shingles and the underlayment are typically going to show up in the roofer's estimate or your insurance claim document as squares, not square feet. Next is eave. So the eave is the bottom edge of a downward slope on your roof. The easiest way to think of what an eave is that's where your gutters typically are. Next is the rake edge. This is also called the gable edge, and this is the exposed diagonal edge of a roof surface, and it's normally perpendicular to the eaves. Next is underlayment. This is the protective material that gets installed on your entire roof before the shingles. So it provides a moisture barrier to help prevent water from getting through your roof if it gets under the shingles. So there's a few different types of underlayment. One is felt paper. So this is the black paper that you're probably used to seeing on roofs. Not many roofers use this anymore because it's really not as good as other types of underlayment. The next is a synthetic. So this is made out of a woven poly. So it's far more resistant to tearing, and it doesn't absorb water like the felt paper can. So this is really what roofers tend to use now. Next is ice and water shield. So this is more of a specialized underlayment. It's a rubberized membrane that's designed mostly for cold weather regions or regions that get lots of water. Since it's rubberized, it seals around nails, so it adds more protection against leaks. In many areas, even in warm weather regions, it's required to be installed by code, mostly in areas though where ice dams occur. So if you live in a warm weather region and it's required by code, it's probably because your region gets a lot of rain. So it may be required places like valleys and along walls and penetrations. So if you need more information about ice dams and ice and water shield, click this video right here. Hey, if you're a homeowner and you're trying to, number one, figure out how to find the right roofer to hire, or number two, try to make sense of the roofer's estimates that you're getting, or number three, trying to understand your insurance claim for your roof, well, we've got some resources that are probably going to be helpful for you. Send an email to info@homesteadroofingcolorado.com. Let us know what you need. We'll see if we can help you. Next is drip edge. This is a metal flashing that's installed at the roof edges. It extends onto the roof surface and also hangs down over the roof edge. The purpose of this is to divert water away from the roof edge, and in most areas, building code requires drip edge at the eaves, and in some areas it's also required on the rakes. Next is ventilation. Your roof needs to be ventilated to make sure your shingles last longer. There's intake vents and there's exhaust vents. Soffit vents are an example of an intake vent. So this allows air to enter your attic space. Then there's exhaust vents. These allow the hot air to exit your attic. The different types of exhaust vents are box vents, ridge vents, and turbine vents. And to know which vent you should use or which one you have, watch this video right here. Next is flashing. So flashing is used wherever there's a penetration in your roof or at a connection with a wall. The flashing is there to prevent water from entering your roof at these penetration points. The common types of flashing that you're going to see are pipe flashings. So these go at the base of all pipes coming through your roof. Valley flashing, and this is needed because since a valley is where two roof slopes meet, that means there's a gap in the wood beneath the shingles. So valley flashing is what covers that gap. The flashing can either be metal or a membrane material like ice and water shield or both. Then there's sidewall flashing. So this is where a wall intersects a diagonal roof surface on the side of the wall. So the roof runs along the side of the wall, and this is normally going to be L-shaped metal. So the part on the wall goes behind your siding or stucco, and the part of the roof goes under your shingles. Another kind of flashing is head wall flashing. So this is where a wall intersects a roof surface on the front of the wall. The roof runs away from the wall. This is also L-shaped metal, but it's usually in 10-foot lengths. So again, the part on the wall goes behind your siding or stucco, but then the part on the roof goes on top of your shingles. And this allows water to shed off your roof away from that intersection without getting underneath the shingles. Another kind of flashing is chimney flashing. So chimneys are flashed pretty much the same way as walls, but you probably are going to also see something called counter flashing on a chimney too. And this provides an additional cover for the L-shaped flashing at the intersection. If you want to know how to get apples to apples estimates from different roofers now that you understand these roofing terms, click this video right here. And if you want to know how to find the right roofer, click this playlist right here.